Every name we drop got roots in the grind. History speaks loud, just listen to the line. We struggle to shine, we honor the climb. We're losses hit deep, but sharp in the mind. Real don't flex, they just move with weight. Welcome to the legacy, room A-108, go to the legacy. Yeah.
All right, everybody, welcome back to room A-108. I'm your host, David. Joining me as always, my co-host, CJ. And we're back for another live stream episode of room A-108. Unfortunately, this episode is a recap episode of the 2025 season for our Chicago Bears instead of a game plan episode for tomorrow's NFC Championship game. Fortunately, didn't go down the way we hoped it would, but nothing to hang our head about. But we'll get into that along this episode. CJ, how you feeling, man?
Man, good, bro. Good. What's going on with you? Everything straight?
It's the weekend, man. Always the weekend. And cheers. Any chance I get. Yep.
It ain't the weekend for me. Today was my Monday, actually.
Yeah. You said you're not off till Wednesday. I was like,
Shit,
got you. So the easiest way to start off with, I guess, is to talk about the game with the Rams that we had. We didn't have an episode in studio to talk about it, but we're here with the live episode. You're like, man, we got to talk about it. We can't just have a week go by where we didn't get to talk about at least the end of the season, the ups, downs. But specifically, let's start with the game against the Rams at home, the chilling weather, and the crazy game, of course, again, where we ended up taking the heartbreaking loss in overtime. Tell me how you feel and what do you think? Pros and cons, positive, negatives from that game.
Hey man, I was just happy that it was a good game, that they put forth a good effort. I think I said that multiple times in the weeks leading up, not only to that game but the playoffs in general. Was just, man, we just want our team to go out there and put forth a good effort, man, and represent the city and represent themselves well. And I think they did, man. It didn't go the way we wanted it to go, like you said, but they had a chance. Excuse me, and that's all you can ask for. At the end of the day, a one-score game in a game that goes to overtime, and you gave yourself a chance to win. They ain't always gonna go that way, as Josh Allen. So it is what it is, man. Definitely a overachieving season. If you would have told either one of us that, before the season started, that they would have been 11-6, NFC North Division winners, the 2 seed in the playoffs, and hosting a divisional round playoff game, we would have probably told people, whoever told us that, we would have probably told them that they need to go get their head checked.
Yeah.
So like I said, I think I had them at 9-8 before the year. You had them at 10-7. So cleared our expectations for sure. But it's a good stepping stone, man. It was a good building block in this year, even though in Ben's end of the year presser, he tried to say that there is no building blocks. They got to start over from square one next year. Each year is its own entity. But from a fan's perspective, I appreciate him and the team taking that approach. But from a fan perspective, I think it was a good building block, man. And we going into next year, heads held high, expectations even higher, and we'll see what 2026/2027 bring. So looking forward to it though, for sure.
Yeah, I agree. It was interesting because I know you and I were talking. So when we found out we were going to win the NFC North and we clinched the playoff spot, I had said it and you had said it, just like, man, we've already exceeded our expectations. So anything that happens from here on out, I'm happy. But then we drew Green Bay in the first round, and it's like, all right, man. So I don't want to seem like we're reaching, but now it's like, okay, we can't go out losing to Green Bay. So now we're like, okay, we'll just win us one playoff game, and we did. And Caleb had his coming out party. Even in the loss, he showed the world that he is game time. He's here to step up in the clutch. There's no lead that is insurmountable for the Bears. Um, and even though it hurt, that was a brutal loss. Like, I remember when, so it's like the ups and downs, man. The Bears all season has been a roller coaster, but throwing that interception brought us all the way down. But before that, stopping them and making them punt after them getting the ball first, I'm like, man, all we got to do is kick a field goal. We had been driving down. And I'm like, oh, we got it. This is it. Like, we're about to advance and we're about to go against Seattle. Like, it's it. And then we threw the pick, and I'm like, I mean, everyone wants to chime in and cast blame, said DJ was being lazy. I've even heard people say, Caleb shouldn't have thrown that far downfield in that situation. You know what? I wasn't mad. I mean, in the moment, I was mad at the situation, but it's just like, you know what? It's what can you do? We brought this has been a powerhouse in the NFL since Stafford has gone to the Rams. I mean, they've had their down years because of injuries, but the Rams have arguably one of the best coaches in the NFL, arguably one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. And now they have one of the best receivers in the NFL. So we went blow for blow with them, and even did you see that everyone was mic'd up from the Rams? Did you see Devontae what he said to Caleb?
Oh
Like,
yeah, yeah.
nothing but props, and this is a former Packer, so that there's no love lost between him and the Bears, and he had nothing but praise to give Caleb. And it's like you said, man. I know what Ben was trying to say. You start back from square one each year, but when you bring back the core of the team, there's plenty of optimism going forward. And I think as long as we have the duo of Ben and Caleb going forward with that offensive line, I think that we'll at least be in contention every year going forward.
Yeah, and there's blame. There's multiple people who are deserving of some blame when it comes to that last play, that last offensive play, the interception. I've heard people, hump a bunch of blame on DJ. Seen people, give their fair share of blame to Caleb. I've seen people blame Rome for not running his route hard enough and taking the attention of the safety. So, but one of the things that is just kind of like human nature, bro, is anytime something doesn't go the way that we want it to go, just as humans, we drastically, excuse me, we drastically look for the why. We want to know why it didn't work out, why it
Yeah.
didn't, happen the way we wanted it to. And a lot of times you'll just get led down, any old path, and you'll believe, anything, if it helps you, answer that why, and for DJ, man, DJ gets his ass kicked on a weekly basis, bro. The man is in and out of the tent, in and out of the game, multiple times every game. He still, you know, straps his helmet back on and gets back out there. So, I'll always salute DJ Moore, man. And, he takes a lot of bullets just because of his demeanor, bro. Like, he's not the fiery rah-rah guy. And, people always want to, cast assumptions that he doesn't care enough and this, and that. Like, dude, that's just his persona, man. That's just who he is. You can't make the man be somebody that he's not. He's not going to be, Justin Jefferson or Jamar Chase, flashy and pounding the chest after every catch. Like that's not him. Um, but yeah, so it is what it is. It was a great game. It was a great season, and we'll be back. Probably doing one of these episodes. In a couple months, talking about who they picking at number 25, which is a whole lot better than picking at number 10. So I'll take that.
Yeah, and we'll get into it later, but that's if we even pick at 25. But I'm sure we'll have that conversation in a little bit. Um, but yeah, no, it's crazy, man, because even though, like I said earlier, we had that mindset of like, we're just happy that we got to this point. We're a year ahead. You know, I still went in that game fully expecting to win. Like I remember, I mean, we text back and forth, and I was like, this is the matchup we wanted. We wanted a Southern California team in Chicago, winter conditions. And remember, you text me, you're like, man, I hope it's negative outside and snowy and everything. And it was cold. And then I text you before the game. I'm like, man, they're talking too much about this now, man. And I'm getting a really bad feeling. And I don't think Stafford, he didn't have a bad game, but I don't think the Rams won because of Stafford. If you know what I'm not saying that he didn't contribute, but it wasn't like he just dominated in the fashion like he was clearly the better quarterback. Because actually, I think Caleb had a better game than Stafford. Um, just the Rams just as a team played better, ended up winning the game. But uh, yeah, just super happy. Not just because of the good season that we've had. You look at the core of our team. Besides Tooney at guard, there's nobody over 30 on that team. Most are under 25, 26 years old that will be on this team for at least 3, 4 more years. Uh, so that's something that I most look forward to and this team going forward. So uh, with that said, I mean, I guess there wasn't too much to talk about with the Rams game, but
I,
uh, go,
before you, I'll just say that if you would have told me before that game started that the Bears defense, who
hmm,
we had some
yeah,
questions about,
I know where
if
you're
you would have
going with it.
told me
Yeah,
that that game would have finished with Puka with 5 catches for 56 yards and Devontae Adams with 2 catches for 24 yards, if you would have told me that that's what the Bears defense would have held them to, I would have told you that they would have won
yep,
easy, and I probably would have told you it was probably a double digit win. But
yep,
it's just one of those things, man. The Bears didn't it's kind of been their Achilles heel, all year in the games that they have lost and the games that they put themselves in these close games is just not taking advantage of, the opportunities when they're there, and, for everybody who, you know, uh, bitches and moans about Ben and going for it on fourth down, that is who he is, man. Like, and for me, like, I'm not even, most of the time, I'm more so ticked off at the play call and the play design, not so much the decision to go for it on fourth. You
yeah,
know, if you in the playoffs and you telling me you're going against the Rams in a divisional round and you trying to punch your ticket to the NFC Championship game, you would assume that you're gonna need to score touchdowns, man. So I'm cool with the decision to go for it a lot. You're not talking about him going for it on 4th and 7, 4th and 8 a bunch of times. You're talking about 4th and 2, 4th and 3. Short yardage downs where this team who has been the best rushing attack since they bye week, you would expect the Bears to convert a lot of those situations. So but it is what it is, and he found himself in another situation where it's almost like once he decides to go for it the first time and he doesn't get it, it's like you can't put the toothpaste back in the tube at that point. Now you
yep,
chasing points, and now he's feeling like I'm chasing the one that I didn't get, and I'm trying to get back even, and it's but it is what it is, man. You talking about points left out on the board, and it's still a game that you lost 20-17. So plenty of stuff to work on, plenty of stuff to be cleaned up, and if you just convert, two of those, you're talking about, the Bears playing tomorrow. So it is what it is, man. It was a great season, man. And it's funny enough that I honestly felt worse, and I know there's kind of really no comparison. One was a playoff game, one was a championship game. I felt worse after the Miami loss than I did after the
mm,
Bears loss.
yeah,
So, but I don't know, man. It is what it is. We'll be back. Good things are coming for Bears fans. You always chasing, the pairing of the right coach and the right quarterback. And, we're the one team, uh, not the one team, but at least we know in the NFC North, we got that right. You know, and every other team in the division got questions about their parent. It's a lot of Packers fans up there questioning Jordan Love. Don't even need to get into Minnesota and JJ. And Detroit. There's a whole lot of Lions fans questioning not just Jared Goff but their coach too. They trying to figure out if Ben had all the magic and if Dan Campbell was just the one, reaping the benefits from it. So
Yeah.
we'll see what it is, though, man.
Yeah, man. I want to just move on to the overall. I mean, I know we kind of touched on it, but just the overall season recap. Um, just to touch on it, we started off the season 0-2, and if you all happen to follow our episodes on YouTube, our full episodes, um, CJ and I were ready to throw in the towel. We're just being honest. It's not like we completely gave up, but before the season started, CJ just touched on it. We made our predictions for the year. We went through the schedule. I predicted us to go 10-7, and you predicted us to go 9-8. Neither one of us were far off, a game or two. But once we started off 0-2 in the fashion that we lost, especially against the Lions, we were like, man, we might be lucky if we win 5 or 6 at this point. So starting off that way, and then to bounce back and finish at 11-6 like we did, and in the fashion that we did. So I want to say something, and I really mean this. Um, if it wasn't for the fact that we didn't win the Super Bowl, this would probably have been my most enjoyable season in any sports ever in my life. Now I was like 3 months old in '85 when we won. It's not like I can say I remember. I was alive when it happened, but I was getting passed around at a Super Bowl party like a football. So I have no idea what was going on at that point. But uh, even the season with Michigan, right? Like, I loved 2023. I loved 97. But those seasons were undefeated. And I loved it because I loved the dominance. And you can relate too with Miami winning in '01, the dominance. But the emotion from this season, the way we came back, the excitement in those games, and like it's one thing to appreciate the dominance of your team, right? It's just sitting back and going and knowing you're going to win. Like that's awesome. Right? There's nothing that compares to it. But going into a game and just ready to oh man, F this team. This sucks. I can't stand it. And then they come back and win and just completely blow your mind to the point where like I'm getting up and I'm screaming at the TV in both anger and joy within a 30-minute period of each other. There's nothing like that. It's insane. And I can't say that I've had a season in any sport where I've enjoyed a season this much. Like I said, if it wasn't for the fact, I mean, we didn't win the Super Bowl. Of course, you always want to win the very last game of the season. That's the goal, no matter what sport it is. But it was just so damn fun this season to watch the Bears because every Monday you came to work and you're just like, man, and now you got to ask because there was always someone that turned off the game. Everybody, every time you came on Monday, they were like, man, I turned off the game because I thought it was over with. And like, oh, why'd you do that? Why would you turn the game off? Like, so I love this season. It was fun. It was exciting. And I don't think we'll ever see anything like it. Not to say that we won't see one better. I'm just saying I don't think we'll ever see anything like this season from the Bears.
Yeah, it wouldn't be one for me, but it would be top 5 for sure.
Yeah,
I wouldn't be able to put it, above, like '05 White Sox.
I was gonna say that's the only one that I can compare
I
it to
wouldn't
the
be able
'05
to.
season.
I wouldn't be able to put it over, 2010 Blackhawks. Um, and definitely, there's one or two of those, funny enough, is D Rose night.
Yeah,
One or two of those, Rose Bull seasons, the battles with Bron and Wade and the Heat in Miami. So yeah, but definitely top 5 just from the standpoint of, my son is getting older. He plays sports, and this is the first time, in his lifetime that the Bears, have been good, and it was super exciting, man, for sure. So yeah, I'll piggyback you on that. Top 5 for sure.
Justin said the same thing you said. Said of the White Sox too. So this is people agreeing with you.
Yeah, yeah. But it was a top five for sure though. Top five for sure.
Yeah, and the season didn't go without its flaws, right? I mean, yeah, we talked about this on the podcast too. This is probably the worst defense I've seen in my lifetime as a Bears fan. Because even the years that were bad, our defense was good. Like our defense is, I shouldn't say good. It's always been solid. And this year, it was very deceiving because we had the most takeaways in the NFL. But we preached about this all year, man. It was takeaway or get scored on. There was no in the middle. There's no gray area.
Just off just off the top of my head, I have to go back and look and compare it to those. I forget the specific year, but the year they gave up the back-to-back 50 burgers to the Packers and Patriots.
Okay,
Uh, Lamar Houston tears his ACL celebrating a sack in a blowout. You
I
know, you
remember that.
getting 40 dogged and and he celebrates a sack and tears his ACL like that. Just off the top of my head, I remember that defense that year being trash. So any defense that gives up back to back 50 burgers, you know, I have to go back and compare it to this year. But
Yeah,
the turnovers are what they are,
50
man. The
burgers.
turnovers are they're a product um, of course, some luck, and you got to factor in the other team, putting the ball in harm's way. But it's also you being where you're supposed to be and taking advantage of it. So it is, it's both. You gotta have the skill and the awareness to be in the spot where you need to be in to be able to take advantage of the opponent putting the ball in harm's way. So, uh, but yeah, I don't know. Now I'm sitting there thinking about that, trying to think and compare it to that team. So
to other
now it's in
defenses.
my head. Now
So
it's in my
I got a
head.
question for you, man. I'm gonna put you on the
Yep,
spot.
for
If
sure.
you had to pick best moment, not game, best moment of the season, worst moment of the season, and maybe you could throw in there, maybe you have a favorite. Because a lot of times best isn't always favorite. So I ask you those three: best moment, worst moment of the season, and favorite moment. And feel free to chime in the comments, y'all, with all your what you think, best, worst, favorite moments from this season.
Best moment is probably uh, Ben with the after Packers in the in the locker room. Only because of the shitstorm that it started afterwards, how much
Love
fun
that,
I
made it so
had.
much better. Made it so
Yeah,
much better.
being able to sit there and watch the videos and read the comments and everybody was so butthurt about it, bro. It was like that made it number one for me because if he would have just said that and it just would have like kind of went away, it wouldn't have the same effect as it did because so many people were so upset by it, and it was a week long thing after he did it that it just took on a life of its own.
So
So,
I don't want to cut you off, but like
oh, go ahead.
I just want to throw it in there. Like you even said it. So the last episode we recorded, if you all get a chance, go and watch the last episode that we had. And I turned up because I was fueled by all the everyone just upset about Ben Johnson. The lack of a handshake after Packers, and I went on a little rant. Like I like to call it my little Stephen A rant, and I don't usually do that. Me and you are more reserved. Just you know, and I was turned up, and I was like, you know what, man, I'm gonna poke because it's so many butthurt Packer fans out here, and I'm just I can't wait to just piss everybody off. So I wanted to be able to get that in there. But go ahead. I agree with you, man. That was one of my favorite moments of the season.
Best for me. Worst would probably be uh, losing to Snoop Huntley and the Ravens with Lamar out, and not just lost.
I,
That was a two
I,
touchdown loss.
I forgot about that. Yeah.
That was disappointing, man. That was disappointing. So that for me, that'd be worst. Um, and then favorite will probably, and it's crazy to say that this favorite because it was a game that they lost, but that's the Sunday night game against the 49ers, man. Back and forth, shootout. It's been a while since we've been in one of those games.
First first play pick six.
Yeah, it's been a while since we've had an offense and a quarterback that's been able to, you know, survive in one of those games and go back and forth with, another team. And it was uh, Ben versus Shanahan, and
Yep.
that was that was one of those games where it was like you lost, but you didn't even feel bad after the loss because you was like,
Yeah,
man, this game was so
for
dope
sure.
that it was like I enjoyed every second of it. So that'd be it for me for sure. Those three, that's how I go. You got
Yeah,
to you got
no,
to give us
that's
you got to give us yours now.
oh favorite game in the Packers in overtime. Caleb with the Iceman. That's my favorite by far. It wasn't even close when because I didn't even because you didn't see he did that live. You had to wait for the replay to see that he did that. You know, but the excitement. I think I lost my voice that day because when we gamed him because at that point that was one of Caleb's strong points in college, right? He was always a deep ball thrower, and we hadn't really seen him do much of that this year. Like you would see him, yeah, do 20 plus yards, but not end zone chucks. We hadn't seen much him do, and when he did, he always overthrew it. So when he threw that man and we gamed him, I mean I went nuts. And then him doing the Iceman, that's my favorite by far. Low light, low point for me was also losing to the Packers that first game. It's not that we lost, but man, we had a segment on. I keep bringing up our other episodes. Just I mean that's all we do is talk Bears all season, so it's our reference point. But I even put a short up about it. Like I was offended that the Packers were 7-point favorites and they
Mm.
ended up beating us by 7 points. Because I mean, anybody that bets if you're a 7-point favorite, that means you're in blowout territory. And I'm like, man, I'm offended. Like, what? They're crazy. And then we lost by 7. I'm like, man, it was just insult to injury. And then LaFleur, and see, that's what people don't talk about. That first handshake, just real pompous, brushed it off. But like, you made a post about this not long ago. Like, when you win, you get to talk shit. That's just it is what it is. You have that right. And so, I mean, I didn't like it, but not because he was classless. It's like, damn, I can't say nothing about it. That sucked. I hated losing that Green Bay to that first game. And um, the best moment, I think the best moment of this season um, is probably the Rams running back 20 yards, throwing it to Komet alone in the end zone to tie the game to go into overtime. Because I don't think there was a soul on earth. And if you think otherwise, you're a liar. There's not a soul on earth that saw Caleb run backwards and thought anything positive coming out of that play. We were on what, the 12 at that point or 10?
Something like that,
And it was like 4th and 4, right? And he just immediately ran backwards and he threw the ball from the 40. I'm like, bro, what are you doing? Like there's nothing good can come from that. And the way you see the camera as a viewer, you don't see who's downfield. So you don't see none of that. He throws it and then he's one on one. The guy misplaced the ball and it just lands in command. I'm just like, wow. Like at that point, I was like, he's the best quarterback the Bears have ever had. At that moment right there,
yeah.
and it's not saying much, but I'm like, he's the best I've ever. That's it. Like, and shame on me for thinking otherwise. But that was to me the best moment. And even though we lost, I'm just like, man. And I would even go on TikTok. There's people in other countries in bars that are Bears fans going crazy at that play. It was just unreal, man.
I can't remember another time in a Bears game where a play happened and I had no words, just I had my hands on my head, like, what the hell just happened? Because
It's like
like you said, he
what?
runs backwards, he chucks it up, and it's just camera pans over, balls in Komet's hands. You like, bro, what just happened in the last 3 seconds, bro? Like, I'm sitting on the couch like this with my hands on my head, like, what?
And
Yeah,
that's what I mean by clutch factor in Caleb. Like he's not only doing yes, he's doing it in. So there's different versions of being clutch, right? There's versions of clutch a lot of times. Like you watch basketball, the game is tied and you hit that last second shot, but it's tied, so it doesn't matter. How many times has Caleb stepped up on 4th and something, game on the line, we don't convert, game over? Like that's a whole different level of clutch because it's like this play works or it's done. Like we easily could have had 3 or 4 less losses in that situation with Caleb this year. Easily.
Yeah, I'd be I'd be interested to kind of see or hear what other people's because
Yeah.
I wouldn't be minded if anybody says the 4th and 8 against Green Bay, rolling left, chucks in, the Rome, the throw to Rome, like I was up there with the Hester Super Bowl. Man,
Yep.
of course.
I
We don't
forget
really have.
you can't see the comments on the side here, man. So I gotta post them on the page. My fault, man.
Yeah, yeah, nah, it's all good. But yeah, definitely, I say that's up
Yeah.
there for sure.
Yeah. So I mean, I would just say those are my 3. So uh but yeah, overall, I mean we've talked about it enough, but just it sucks that we're not playing still, but I'm not I mean, I am upset, but I'm not hurt, you know. The double doink that hurt, and it didn't feel like this. You know what I mean? Now it's a perfect opportunity because I want to I'm going to use that as a moment to segue into what do we do with the next steps? What are the next steps for the Bears? Um, as far as offseason goes, before the draft happens, we're gonna have the free agency period. So we're gonna go through that first. Then we'll have the draft. So in your perfect world, in CJ's perfect world, Ryan Poles is sitting right next to you, saying, "Hey, man, I need your opinion. What should the Bears do in the offseason?"
So I'm not sure when is the official day that he can do this, but the very first day that he can, by league rules, and he's eligible to, uh, he should be blowing up Andrew Berry's phone in Cleveland, and just call him every day until he makes you block your number. Until what is it gonna take to get Miles here, Chief? Want it, need it.
Yeah,
That's number one, man. But as far as just like roster construction, man, he's got a tough task. Well, I wouldn't say a tough task because we've seen in the NFL that like the salary cap is like it's like a myth sometimes with the way teams are able to kick the can down the road, so to speak, and free up money by restructuring contracts and all of that good stuff. But um, got to make a decision on Byard and Brisker. Um, it sucks that the one that played the best is the older one, and the younger one with the highest ceiling can't stay on the field. So like you can't trust them. In a perfect world, I'd like to see both of them back. On shorter deals and depending on what other teams around the league are willing to offer Brisker. I see if he wants to come back on a shorter deal that's super incentive laden. You know, um, you got to figure out what's going on with Tremaine Edmonds. I'm seeing a lot of people say that he cut candidate. Uh, Cole Kmet is someone that's a cut candidate with no guarantee money left, but I've kind of, as the years gone on, I've kind of felt I went from saying that that's somebody you can move on from and not really kind of bat an eye. I think I changed my stance on that a little bit. I think that's somebody that you could see and probably want to restructure and bring back at a lower cap number. But the glaring need that everybody sees is pass rush. Got to find a way, to be able to get home and get pressure on the quarterback with only 4 and not having a blitz. So we'll see. I think the offense is pretty set. A whole lot of people in Chicago that's talking about moving DJ and quick to ship him off to Vegas for Max Crosby. Not one for one, but in a package. But both of those names right there that Justin is bringing up, those are 2 dudes that got question marks. 2 dudes who didn't finish their seasons, both had surgery on knees. I know Max is younger. Trey Henderson is already on the other side of 30. The thing about Trey Henderson that makes him probably a little bit more appealing is that it's just money. You're not having to give up any type of draft capital to bring him in. He's a free agent, so that's that. But can you afford another big money free agent acquisition after the blunder that has been Dayo Adengbo and the 32 million guarantee that you gave him to come over from Indy, and he gave you absolutely nothing before getting hurt, and it's not like you can move off from him like that. I mean, you could, but what's the dead cap? What's the dead cap penalty?
It's worth it. It's worth it.
So
It's worth it.
that's that, man. But yeah, the offense is set. Other than left tackle, they got a question mark there now that Ozzy's out for most of next year. Braxton Jones is gone, and they showed you what they felt about Theo Benedict by not wanting to play him, in that game against the Rams. You took your all pro guard and moved him out to tackle because you didn't trust playing him. So that's the only hole on offense right now that they have is figuring out what they're going to do at left tackle. And everybody else is coming back and they're ready to roll. And there'll be year two in this system with a lot of experience, a lot more room to grow. We'll see what happens, but there's definitely a lot of questions on the defensive side of the ball, and I'm eager and curious to see how they approach it and how they answer those questions.
Yeah, I'm looking. I just pulled it up just now, and the unrestricteds we have. You mentioned Byard, Brisker, Jonathan Owens, who's mostly used for special teams, although he is a good special teams player. So I don't know how they'll work with that. Also, Nashon, um, Gardner Johnson, and besides that, Billings is on here. Braxton Jones, Ryan Bates, Travis Homer, Zacchaeus, Duvernay. So I can see us cutting most of those.
Bye bye to a lot of them.
Yeah, it's interesting because Byard. So it's hard with Byard because he's getting up there in age, but he's probably coming off his best season statistically, right? Um, I mean, I'm just being honest. He had a great statistical season. I think he led that. Did he lead in interceptions, or was that Nashon that led in interceptions? I
At one
think I
point
think
they were
Byard.
tied,
I
but I
think
think
Byard led in interceptions and Nashon led in takeaways.
yeah, because of those fumbles.
Right.
But
So it'll see what other teams are going to offer him.
and unfortunately, Byard's coming off of his best year on the wrong side of 30, and Brisker in that Rams game might have outpriced himself for the Bears because he had a really good game against the Rams.
Yeah, and this is the first, besides maybe his rookie season. I think this is the first season he played the full season. I mean, did he
Yeah,
miss any
and
games this year?
I don't
If he
believe
did,
so.
it
I
might
think
have
he
been one
played
or
full
two,
season,
if anything. Yeah.
but you're not at a point where you can tie up that much money in your secondary. If you
Yeah.
bring it back a lot of those guys that we mentioned, you already got big money with Jalen Johnson. Kyler Gordon just finished his first year of an extension you gave him before the season. Uh, and in order to bring back Nashawn Wright, who might have outpriced himself too by the way he played and the way, he was a ball hog. You're talking about three dudes that's free agents that aren't going to come cheap,
Yeah.
and I don't see any world where all three of those guys are back. I kind of don't even see a world where two of them are back. I think you're gonna have to pick one out of those three.
Yep.
I think one of them would be one of the two safeties, and I said it before. I wouldn't have a problem with Nashawn Wright coming back, but you better have a plan to get Jalen Johnson up out of here because you can't
So
play them both on the field at the same time. Neither one of them want to tackle.
I'm in the. Everybody is so quick to talk about DJ Moore getting traded. I'd rather trade Jalen Johnson than DJ Moore. Now, I mean, I'm looking it up here, and I've been reading about it all week. So I think we have less than $10 million in cap space right now. in the offseason, and that's before restructuring, putting money in the back end. But it's almost looking like a certainty that we're probably going to lose Edmonds. We're probably going to trade Edmonds or cut him. Hopefully, we can trade him, but maybe get some draft capital. Won't be much, but maybe at least a third or fourth round pick, maybe even lower. But um, DJ is the other person. I think those two are going to be making the most money this year. I think between Edmonds and DJ, but Jalen isn't too far behind, and Sweat either. I don't think we're doing anything with Sweat. We can't afford to lose our best defensive lineman, anyways. Um, but I'm cool with moving Jalen because you've mentioned this too before. When you have Jalen and Nashawn out there, they're essentially the same. Jalen is a better. He's definitely a better cover corner. He's definitely a better man, but we don't run man. Dennis Allen isn't a man defense like that. I mean, we did at points in the season, but the majority of the time we're going to be running the zone. So man coverage isn't going to be essential. Nashawn is more comfortable in that zone, moving around. He's a ball hawk, so he's going to be more of an asset to the Bears. He'll be cheaper. So I like the combination of Nashawn and Tyreek better than Jalen and anybody else. In perfect world, I agree with you. We could keep all of them, but trade Jalen, trade Edmonds, see what we're working with and money after that point. Um, I know they're going to do a lot of restructuring. I think they're talking about restructuring Komet already too. I don't see us getting rid of Komet. I know Ben likes that two tight end system, so I don't see us moving him. Um, but yeah, it's gonna be crazy come free agent time because where we hurt the most, like you said, we're set on offense. With Zacchaeus is the only person we're gonna be losing. I'm cool with that. I like I said, when we benched Sade Walker, I was like, I'd rather have him out there than Zacchaeus. Zacchaeus has way too many drops. Um, Offense was straight, but it's gonna be interesting because we're paying a lot of money to a lot of defenders that are taking up a
It's
lot
the
of cap
most expensive.
space.
It's the most expensive defense in the NFL.
Yeah, and it's the production just doesn't equal that.
Don't
So
show.
I'm I'm gonna say this, man. Like if you can get the proper draft capital, I'm okay with getting rid of Sweat. Sweat had a decent year, but if it's gonna free up cap space and you could pursue another top tier defensive end, edge rusher, packaged with another linebacker that's got some speed, so we're not getting burnt by a running back every single play for a touchdown. I'm cool with that. I can live with that. Sweat didn't do enough for me this year where it's like, no, we can't lose him. We can't. Like when I was mentioning earlier, I don't think the Bears will, but I'm cool. I'm straight if we get rid of Sweat. Get rid of Sweat and say we get a Crosby, say we get a Miles Garrett. I'm straight. I think we're gonna draft an edge rusher first, anyways. So to pair them up with the up and coming prospect, if we don't trade away that first pick, which if we get Miles Garrett on the team, we're not gonna have a first round pick this year. Um, but I'm cool with this. So I'm cool with getting rid of any big contracts on the team at this point, with the exception of any of our offensive linemen. Keep that offensive line together as long as possible.
Yeah, and I forget which one it was, but one of those capologist kind of guys had kind of retweeted somebody had tweeted something about the Bears being in bad shape with the cap. And he had kind of retweeted and it was like the Bears could easily get to 70 or 80 million dollars in cap space with simple restructures. And they haven't really. He was saying that they haven't really utilized a lot of them yet, so they're not in a space where it'll be crippling down the road if they do. So I don't see any scenario where Sweat isn't here next year. I think that was one of Pole's marquee acquisitions. Went out and got him at the deadline. Uh, he extended him. I think he'll be here. I think he's somebody who's a candidate to see what you can do with a restructure on his deal. And see what happens. But I think he's here. Some of the other guys that you mentioned will be a little bit more curious, with Edmonds. Are you at a point where you can afford uh, to let him go with TJ Edwards being a question mark coming off of, a broken leg?
I thought it was Achilles.
No, he was a broken leg. Yeah.
Okay.
So we'll see. We'll see how that goes. But yeah, I don't. Sweat will be here. I'm fairly certain
So,
of that.
so I'm mad I didn't touch on it because that was the point. That was going to be my segue, and now it's too late because it's not even a segue anymore. But I brought up the 2018 season because I remember specifically, man. I remember I was up in arms. Matter of fact, I'll pull up my Facebook after this, and I'll probably start posting stuff from that off season. Um, if you remember that off season, the Bears got extremely complacent in the off season. They made no moves. It was like, okay, we should have won this game against Philly. And I remember that season. I mean, they played great. It was a great season. They were like, we played. I think we beat the Rams, who were the defending Super Bowl champs. I think we beat them in week 16 or 17 or whatever. And they just got extremely complacent and like, man, we're just running back. And we didn't do much at all. I remember in the offseason, no free agent moves. It was just extremely complacent. I was pissed off because the Vikings got better, the Packers got better, and the Lions got better in that offseason. Everybody got better, improved their roster except us. Everybody's like, oh, we're cool. We'll run it back. And we've been rebuilding since then. Like literally been rebuilding since then. And I just hope, like I can see why it's easy to do that too. When you have a core group of guys like that, you're so successful. It's like, okay, we don't need nothing else. We almost did it with this team. Let's keep this team. You have to continue to expand your roster and make it better. You have to constantly think about the future because every year guys are getting older. Tooney's a year older now. He's going to be 33, probably 34 next year. Byard's going to be a year older. Sweat, he's about to start hitting 30, right? He's going to be 30 coming soon, right? I think he's like 28, 29. So Sweat's going to be right there. Edwards, all these guys are starting to hit. So we already have to start reloading. And this year's draft of defense was horrible. Hippolyte, what's the lineman that we got that didn't even play? Turner, right? Shamar Turner. He didn't
Yes,
even
yeah,
play.
he got hurt. Hmm.
So it's like we're not
Texas
even
A&M.
we don't even have people that are next up at this point right now for these people that are gone or that are getting older. So we're in a situation where it's like, yeah, we gotta either start trading these older players away from more draft capital to hopefully hit our home runs where we missed this last draft, or we need to start making trades in the free agency. We cannot be complacent, and I'm gonna be furious if we just repeat what happened in 2018. Now that was Pace, and this is Poles, so I have more faith in Poles than I did Pace. But I'm just hoping, man. I'm just hoping it's not the same thing.
Yeah. Well, wouldn't you be more comfortable this time around if they took more of a step back on defense because of what you have on offense? Don't you have a little bit more confidence in this offensive group than the offensive group of Mitch and them in 2018?
Yes, but I'm not.
Because
I'll
you're
probably
gonna
be even. No, I know what you're saying, and I agree. But I'll probably be even more upset because in this day and age in the NFL, your window is small. It's a very small window, and doing that, you're wasting a year of this top tier offense where we can be going. If we get it together, right, this offseason, and we actually do what we're supposed to do and actually keep the core players of our defense and expand upon that, we can make a Super Bowl run next year. That's the only reason why I'd be more. But I agree with you. I know what you're saying, and you're completely right. And I agree. I'd be more confident because our offense can keep us in the game. But I'm like, damn, now we're gonna have to shoot out everybody, and then we got a hard schedule next year, like a really hard schedule next year. So that ain't gonna help us either. So
the
our
problem
defense
the
is really gonna
problem
get ate
is
up.
the problem is that they have to find a way to get better on defense while also getting cheaper on defense.
Hmm.
That's the trick that Poles has to pull off because um, I know we had mentioned before that the offense is set, and they are. as far as the starters that are in place. But you got an all-pro right tackle that you got to extend coming up. Um,
A
yeah,
lot of money. A
you
lot of
got
money.
all-pro right tackle that you got to extend coming up. I believe Drew Dahlman only signed a 3-year deal to come here.
Yep.
So while they're set as far as the starters that are in place,
That
you got
window.
you got big question marks that's coming up very quickly on some of those starters, offensive starters, which is
Yep.
why I said he's got to find a way to get better on defense while also getting cheaper, and that's not easy. But some would say it's not even realistic to even think about trying to do that. But you're gonna have to. You're gonna have to pull a rabbit out of the hat or something, So
It's
yeah,
it's a method to the madness, right? Like I feel so. I agree with everything because think about it. Rome is and Caleb are both going to be coming up on extensions at the same time. Um, DJ Moore, we're going to have to decide with him, which will probably be made this offseason. But if I feel like if we get that stud edge rusher and we get a presence inside, right? I think that is sustainable. And you put at least mediocre players next to them. I mean, you can't have a dominant front four. I mean, you could, but this is not realistic with our roster and our contracts and our cap space. This is not realistic to. We gave money. We gave so as much as we did good in the offseason last year, we gave a lot of stupid money out. Like Grady Jarrett should not have got the money he got. Um, I don't even know how to pronounce his name, but the guy from what's his name from the Colts?
Degbo, Dio
Yeah,
Degbo.
he should have never got signed in the. I remember I say that all the time, man. I'm like, yeah, he should have never ever got that contract. So we had a lot of stupid spending. So we just gotta if we get a good top tier edge rusher, inside presence, someone that is either a hole clogger or even a pass rusher. If you get that pressure, our biggest. I don't know, man. This is a good question. What do you think is more of a need for the Bears defense right now? A pass pressure of the front four defense or run stopping defense of the front four.
Easily a pass rusher.
I agree. I agree.
Easily.
I
10 times out of 10. I don't even think it's close, honestly.
yeah.
Because
Yep.
there's been enough times where, some combination of Dexter, Billings, Williams, some of those guys, in the middle have done a good enough job to get the Bears to 3rd and 7, 3rd and 8, 3rd and 6, 3rd and 9. And when you need that guy coming off the edge to go get the quarterback, he ain't there to be found.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So that's why I say it's a pass rusher easily. And I know he's got a target on his back as far as you, but Dangbo got to come back, and he's the one that I would circle and say that has kind of the most to prove on that defense of the guys that are there now. Not any additions or from free agency, trade, or draft, but of the guys that are on the roster right now, I would circle him as the one with the most to prove next year
Yeah.
on defense.
Yeah.
And on offense for me, it would be Rome.
Yep.
Rome
Yeah.
was billed as the number 9 overall pick. Super toolsy wide receiver, supposed to go get jump 50-50 balls, and we just didn't see it. We didn't
Yep.
see it. He came out the gate hot. I think he started like a 5 or 6 game streak with a touchdown, and we thought, oh man, Poles knocked it out the park with this draft pick. And then, the nagging little injury, the foot injury happened, and it was all downhill after that. But I wouldn't surprise me if Rome come out and have another year next year like he had this year. And Luther goes out there and has a better year next year. You're gonna be talking about Rome not getting a second contract in Chicago.
Get him out.
You're gonna be talking about him playing somewhere else. He's not getting a second contract here if he plays the way he played last year, and Luther Burden steps up as your most explosive receiver. So we'll see, man. I
All
hope
right,
Dio
so
Degbo come out with like 9 or 10 sacks next year, and have
he got
some,
it. He's got to, right.
and then just tags, and then hops on IG and like tags room A-108 at David Galvin, and just uh, comes for your top every game.
Love it. Love it. Prove me. That's actually the one case I'd be like, cool. Prove me wrong. I would love him to prove me wrong. So I'm just gonna bring this up. This is a sidebar, but one of my biggest foot in the mouth ever in my life is I remember how livid I was when we drafted Joakim Noah. I was pissed when we drafted Joakim Noah. I'm like, why? This dude shoots stupid. You know, he got a bow tie on, and for the like, you ever seen him shoot? He shoots like that. Like he just like, why? Like you're grown, man. Learn how to shoot.
Tornado, bro, come out,
Like grow up. But whatever. That
grow
is.
up.
I'm like, that's one of the biggest apologies. I'm like, dude, he is exactly what the Bulls needed. He was the heart of that team. He was the fire of that team. I am not too proud to admit when I'm wrong, but hope I'm wrong about him. A Dangbo or whatever his name is. I'll learn to say his name right if he starts playing better. Um, so I want to move on to draft now. So of course, I want to start by saying I don't think we're going to have a first round pick this year. I wholeheartedly believe that no matter what move we make in the free agency, whether we go after an interior or edge rusher, that we're going to trade either. Uh, I just think it's going to be DJ Moore, or Jalen Johnson, but I think it's going to be DJ Moore and a first round pick and probably a second round pick next year for either a Crosby or a Garrett or Hendricks is a free agent this year, right? Yeah. So it's going to be a combination of one of those guys. So I don't think we're going to have a first round pick. Most mock drafts have us drafting. I've looked at least five just now, just since we've logged in, and four of the five have us getting Caden McDonald, defensive tackle, Ohio State. Now you know how I feel about that.
You know how I feel
So
about that.
right, I mean, I don't mind if he's a gamer, he's a gamer. I don't care where you're from. If you're coming to the Bears, no love lost, but um, I don't know. What do you think, man? What do you think the Bears should be going after with the 25th pick?
Somebody on defense. They need to be. They need to. I told my brother the other day. I said they need to drive 7. If they got 7, and they might have more than 7, but just even if they had, just standard 7 picks, one in every round, they need to draft 7 defensive ends, and let them go ballot it out and figure it the hell out. But I don't know, man. He played his way. He played his way out of their range, with his season and especially his game in the national championship. But Ruben Bain Jr. from Miami is somebody that I would kill to have, on the defensive line, but it's just not going to happen.
He's not gonna be available. I would love
Yeah,
it too.
he played too well. He damn near was a one-man wrecking crew against Indiana in the championship game, and
You
he's
see your
probably
brother,
gonna be.
man.
Yeah, he's probably gonna be gone in the top 5. So he's nowhere near, you know, um, attainable for the Bears unless that's somebody that they want to go trading up for. But I don't see the where it would make sense to go up from 25 to where they would need to
Mm-mm.
get to for a defensive end if his name isn't, of the caliber that Myles Garrett was coming out of college. So I think of the vast majority of their picks are probably going to be some combination of defense and maybe offensive line depth, because we know that Poles can't help himself with um,
Drafting
versatile
hymns.
versatile offensive linemen who don't do one thing well, but they play multiple positions and they can be interchangeable. He loves those dudes.
I,
So
I
there's a
will
pick or two
say,
of those coming, bro.
I just want to throw it out there, man. You and I, we were both livid, man. You text me when Tooney went to left tackle. He played a hell of a damn game at left tackle, though. I'll give him
That was
that.
my I guess I will put that down as my foot in the mouth moment. But the last
But
time we saw Joe Tooney play left tackle, he got his ass kicked in the Super
it
Bowl.
wasn't not
So
just exactly. So it wasn't just. It wasn't like it wasn't justified. I mean, I was with you. I was like, why? Like Benedict was fine. Like of course he wasn't great, but he was fine. He was serviceable. And granted, I mean, I get it. We're going against verse, but it was justified, man. So I don't think
I
you're
don't
wrong
even
for that.
think it was just more so the move putting him at left tackle. It was
At
the
that moment.
insertion of a dude at left guard who we never even heard of.
At that,
Dude had zero tick, bro. He was somebody you didn't even know was on the roster, bro. It was
I
like the
didn't.
Snoop meme. It was like, who? Who is this dude? Where did he come from? But all props
Yeah,
to him. He came in, he played well, and Tooney
yeah,
held his own over there at left tackle. So, CJ's foot in the mouth moment is that for sure. I don't, like you said, I don't mind being wrong either. Like I call it like I see it, and I tell I own up to my wrongs too. So, you know, oh well. But yeah, like I said, it's going to be some combination of defensive players and one or two depth offensive linemen. That's what the draft to be. And uh, as much as I would love, to see Myles Garrett here, Max Crosby here, I don't see it coming to fruition. I think that they're going to try to, lower the cap number of some of those guys on defense. And if anything, it might be somebody like Trey Hendrickson on a 1 or 2 year deal where all you got to do is pay him. You ain't got to give up no draft capital. But they're going to have to move some money around first to make that happen.
yeah, yeah. I think there's no way we don't draft defense first round if we have a first round pick. But I agree. I think we're gonna go get depth. I think we need to get depth for our D line though, is what we really need because that's what we really lacked. Is people don't realize, I think the average fan, the casual fan, I should say, not the common, doesn't realize the substitutions that are involved on the defensive end on the line. Like they're constantly going in and out on pack. You have first and second down linemen on defense. You got third down linemen on defense. You got um, heavy line on defense. You got 3-man rush, 5-man rush. It's all different types of formations, and you have to have pieces for all of that to be successful. So I've been very critical of Dennis Allen in the offseason. Like I said, me and we disagreed. We had a conversation about I would be perfectly fine with firing Dennis Allen and promoting Al Harris, especially seeing that Al Harris is getting so much attention from other teams. Um, I personally, I just don't think Dennis Allen is a player's coach, and what I mean by that is I don't think he fits in with the culture that Ben brings. You see it in Antoine Randall. You see it in other coaches. You see the enthusiasm. And Dennis Allen is the odd man out. He's the dinosaur in the room. Now this is where we disagree because I
And
feel
DA
you.
not an exciting white.
Uh
Trying to say Dennis Allen not an exciting white.
nah, yeah, yeah, he's not. It's just like I've never. You ever seen the locker room speeches? You've never seen him. He gives me Eberflus vibes. Like it, he just exists. I'm sure he's great at X's and O's, man, but he doesn't fit in with the culture. Al Harris does. Al Harris fits in with everything that Ben Johnson stands for. Now, I get it. Dennis Allen is a proven defensive coordinator with success in the past. There were rumors that, I mean, I know how you feel about rumors that he got fired from the Saints because he lost the locker room. Players didn't respect him. I don't think Al Harris has that problem, but whatever. Regardless, I'm going off on a tangent. I'm just saying, you know, I think that we need more depth very, very badly on defense. So, like I said, we are probably going to get an offense of a versatile guy that plays center through tackle or whatever, but we need that person that can fit into these different defensive schemes because I mean, it's just weird. We got Grady Jarrett coming in and out, and then Billings coming in and out. Like, I don't know, man. It just doesn't flow for me. So we need way more depth on defensive line. Oh
Yeah,
man, your brother.
you know,
I got
where I stand on that conversation about Da and Al Harris. I'm don't subscribe to the thinking that when you're in a position that the Bears should be in going into next year as a contender, that you subtract somebody with experience um, and put in their place somebody who's never done the job before, somebody that you don't know. Um, yeah, me typing up just exactly what I'm saying right now. I just don't think that it's wise to subtract Dennis Allen and insert Al Harris. As dope as Al Harris is, as dope as you know as a communicator as he is, and turning helping turn Tyreek Stevenson's season around from the disaster that was um, the Commanders game last year, and all of that. Kudos to him for all of that, for sure. But I think you'll see with some tweaks in this offseason to the defensive line and upgrading the pass rush. I think you'll see um, the benefit and the you know the uptick in defense that Da will bring next year.
Is it fair to say though? I'm just throwing this out there. Is it fair to say, in general, no matter who your defensive coordinator is, if you have a good defensive line, you're gonna look good no matter what because you're getting a pass rush. So I guess that's my thing, man. Like I think Dennis Allen, and this is where I'll give Eberflus his credit, man. And I hate the fact that I'm going to say this, but Eberflus, even when we were bad, our defense looked good. Like now, the Cowboys is a different story. I don't know what happened to them. I don't know, whatever. That's a whole different story. But it's showing that you're a good coach when, like, so this is my thing. We didn't have a lack of personnel on defense. We had a lack of pass rush, and you said this, like that'll cause so many issues, and I get it. But there were so many times where, okay, we're not getting the pass rush. We're not blitzing. We're running man without pressure. Like that's first of all, that's the easiest way to lose your personnel because as a DB, there's nothing you hate more than being left on an island and having the quarterback have 5 or 6 seconds to throw. Like that's impossible. You can't cover your receiver for 5 to 6 seconds. I don't care who you are. You could be Darrell Reeves or Dion. You're not sticking somebody that long. There's going to be a moment in that 5 or 6 seconds where they'll be open. So that's the only thing that I think about Dennis Allen is like, we didn't have a lack of personnel. I just think he wasn't scheming right. That's just me personally, man. Like, I don't think he's awful. I just don't think he fits in with what we need. But, that's just my 2 cents, man. So we can agree to disagree.
It's all good. What before I get up out of here in a few minutes, what are any other sticking points that you need to get out from this season or looking towards next season?
You had said this, man, and this is where I agree with you a lot. It says a lot when you have so many teams poaching your coaching staff. So that goes to compliment. So also, I don't even know his name. You might know his name off the top of your head, but um, which may have been the reason why we were so successful against the Rams. But whoever our offensive line coach was, he did a phenomenal job.
Dan
Phenomenal
Rocha.
job. Yeah. See, I knew you would know. Did a phenomenal job and is underrated. I'm surprised he's not getting more calls about. I mean, I don't know if you would promote him to offensive coordinator, but just in general, because throughout the season you're going to have injuries or whatever, and he had to do some movement along the line. It wasn't as dramatic as years past, but um, our coaching staff really meant a lot to the team this year, and you can see that Doyle is getting interviewed, Harris is getting interviewed, uh, Bieniemy is already gone. He's the OC back at KC. Um, I saw that happening anyways. When we got him as a running back coach,
What does that mean for Nagy though? Because I thought
but
Eric
they
Bieniemy
put
was
a
going
goodbye
back.
already.
I thought that he was going back because all signs pointed towards Nagy going to Tennessee, but now Tennessee to hire somebody else. So where the Nagy out here, the
Eh,
music stops and he ain't got no chair to sit in.
he the news played him. Really, the media played him right into unemployment because they made it sound like So I want to put this out there, man. This is an extremely unpopular opinion. Extremely. I didn't hate Nagy as a coach. I think Nagy's biggest problem was he didn't adapt his personnel to what was needed, what Ben Johnson does, because he's proven success as offensive coordinator. He's proven that he can. But that was under somebody else. Like once he got the power, I don't think he had any like rules or regulation. He could do whatever he wanted, and that was the problem. But I never hated Nagy, so I thought if someone else gave him a chance, he could do okay. But yeah, they just had like good luck on their future endeavors post from the Chiefs from Nagy and just gave it to the enemy. Like,
Man,
yeah, sorry, buddy.
yeah,
He's
looking
out
like
of there,
he's
man.
the OC somewhere else, or buddy end up in college or something.
Someone will pick him up as an OC. They got to. I mean, he's a proven successful offensive coordinator. I mean, he just can't call the shots. Um,
Hey man, as long as food don't end up in Baltimore, that's all I know.
oh, Minter, go blue, boy, go blue. Oh man, so now there's three head coaches from that 2023 season in the NFL. From go blue. He's
What
not a
about
bad
your
hire, man.
What about your head coach that started the year?
Who?
Who's coaching Michigan at the start of this year?
Oh, the diddler. Oh man, see it makes me mad because like now you're just coming out that he was like texting people at halftime. I'm like, oh man, I'm cool. I let that go. He's embarrassing us in front of company.
Man,
Mm-mm-mm.
terrible.
But I'm sorry, we're getting sidetracked. Um, but yeah, no, from this my sticking point, man, is that not only has Ben a good coach, that's why I brought that up. He surrounded himself with like-minded people, um, proven, successful, uh, good coaches that are getting opportunities elsewhere for to advance their careers or whatever. So nothing but power to them all, man. That's what's up. And you know, I think that's something that we'll have going forward. I think he has a knack for knowing who fits in and who doesn't, except for Dennis Allen. But yeah, what about you, man? What's your sticking point?
Man, nothing. Just overall overarching point is just that uh, they're ahead of schedule and they laid the groundwork and the foundation for what should be um, putting themselves in a position to contend, on a yearly basis for the next decade or so. Is the way I see it. Is my
Yeah,
expectation now after this year. You got the coach, you got the quarterback. Um, make everything else work, man. And even if you got to take a step back, at some point on defense, trying to get a little cheaper, you know, go win some shootouts, man. Go win those San Francisco games,
yeah.
going into year two and beyond. And I'll be okay with that, man. But yeah, you know, big
Uh,
changes coming defensively, but great start and a great foundation to set going into next year.
Before we go, man, if if you had one wish for the off season, one wish, what would it be?
Miles Garrett.
Just trade package, like cool. Like what is realistic trade package? Doesn't matter. Just give up
Figure
that
it
bag
all
for
out.
him.
Figure it out.
Get it done.
I'll pick
I hear
Cool
you.
up for Midway or O'Hare if they need me to. FMLA. I'll call off.
Get it
Prepare
done,
the
man.
other.
Whatever.
Prepare the Cliffs need to prepare the others because CJ will not be there for one day because I got to pick up Miles Garrett from the airport.
What if they say 3 first-round picks?
Send it.
Oh
Don't
man.
care. If they
All
if
right.
they if they picking 25 and after, I don't give a damn about no late 20s draft pick. If it means I get to have Miles Garrett, trade him,
Yeah.
send him. What the Rams
All
be
right.
saying? Fuck them picks. and they still here
Yeah,
competing year after year, and one game away from going to the Super Bowl, and they always say fuck them picks. So
yep, yeah, it's
get them
true.
up out of here. Bring me Miles Garrett, man. You got one?
I mean, I would say the same, man. I mean, there's nothing, there's no Christmas gift better than the all time season sack leader, uh, Miles Garrett, and that's on a, I mean, that's on a horrible team too. So it wasn't like, it was a star-studded defensive line either that he was a part of. He was, so Strahan, he was like, yeah, I did it in 16 games. I mean, he was joking, but uh, Strahan also had Justin Tuck on his team and like one of the best defensive
Euro.
lines in history. Yeah, man, like one of the best
Mhm.
defensive lines in history. So I don't even know, just off the top of my head. I don't even know if I can name another defensive lineman on the Browns. So it's Garrett
I
did
can
it
only
knowing
name
they're gonna
Shelby
double
Harris
triple team him.
because I can only name Shelby Harris because he called Juwan Jennings a hoe. That's
It's, and he's no Justin Tuck, so or it's just it's yeah. I'm with you, man. That's got to be the best thing option the Bears can get. About my biggest wish list, get Miles Garrett. I think that'll make Sweat even that much better too. Um, because now he's not getting doubled all the time. Now it's gonna be on the other end. So it's like what the hell do you do? That's the best 1-2 punch to me in football at that point on the defensive line. So we draft somebody even in the second round that can be somewhat of a disturbance in the pass rush. And that you turn around the whole season. We're talking about easy Super Bowl contenders next year before the season even starts. So
oh, for sure.
yep. So that would be mine too. I agree with you on that one. But anything else you want to add in before we head up out of here?
Shout out D Rose.
Yes, D Rose, the biggest Chicago legend, I would say, in history. I don't know if there's a bigger Chicago legend that's an athlete in the history of Chicago. Like Michael Jordan is Michael Jordan, but he's not from Chicago. He gave us a lot to cheer for, and I am not discrediting him, but Derrick Rose is and represents Chicago. You can't ask for a more humble um, human being. He just it's just there's you can't say enough good things about Derrick Rose, honestly. So shout out to D Rose retiring his jersey tonight. I got to record it, man, because we were doing this. I'm like, I got to be able to watch that tonight.
For
Um,
sure.
but yeah, before we head out, I just want to say I wanted to point out too. Uh, we hit over 950 subscribers on YouTube. That's our main source of content as far as our full episodes. Um, so if you all can just, if you haven't already, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Trying to hit that 1,000 subscriber threshold. It's been a little over a year. It's been a year and not even 2 months yet. So CJ and I are just super super proud of where we started to where we're at now. Really really appreciate all the support, all the love. Everything we do with this podcast, man, it's just it's all love. Like CJ says it all the time. We're two grown men with full time jobs, families. Um, Shoot, this podcast stuff could be a full time job in itself. So we set aside and put a lot of work, a lot of time behind the scenes for this. So we really, really, really appreciate all the support. It means a lot. You all got a lot of things you could be doing with your time, but instead you choose to click, watch a little bit of our content, support. So just continue to do so, and we'll promise to keep pushing, keep grinding, and putting out content that you all have appreciated so far. Yeah. Anything else
Touche.
you want to add?
Touche, man. Couldn't have said it better, bro.
All right, y'all. Well, that's another episode. We will see you all probably in studio next time. So we'll catch you all next time.
Yes, sir.
I want